Kenan, your life's work I just can only pay tribute to what you've been doing.
Thank you.
It's so important, and you're leading the way for a whole new generation of people and helping them to make much more use of their time and their passion for science.
Yeah.
So I think now we're here. We want to talk about what's next for Franchise for Humanity. We're the co-creators. What have we been doing? So Next Tuesday calls. Tammy, you talked about Next Tuesday calls. What have we been doing in our Next Tuesday calls?
Yeah, sure. So this was your idea, actually. I definitely picked it up and decided to run with it, and getting people really excited about meeting with each other to talk about what their current activities are. And you'd be surprised, every week there's something different and something really interesting to talk about. And there's something also to learn from each other within the group, too.
Kenan, how have you found the Next Tuesday calls?
I love the consistency because it's being able to come together once a week, and it keeps a continuity so that we're finding out what each other's doing. We're finding out what our different projects are. There is amazing overlap. What I love about any group like this is it has people actually go to new places to do new things with people. So it creates actual activity and momentum.
So I think it's time for me to let you know the history of the Next Tuesday call. So
drum roll.
For 5 years, I was working with the Department of Defense about the future of health. In fact, many of the ideas that I'm bringing to the Franchise for Humanity come from that realization that if we want a better future for health, we better do something ourselves. You know, it's not going to come from the government. It's not going to come from somebody else. If we don't like what we're seeing, we need to do something. And so one of the things that happened was the community health centers around the country started to have Next Tuesday calls. Oh. And, you know, you talked about the drum roll. This became a drum beat, the drum beat of Next Tuesday calls. At the beginning, just like us, it's like, okay, we'll talk. What are we doing? And then you start to hear, oh, Kenan's doing this fabulous thing with Yamina. And then we've got Jonathan Trent with Omega. And he's doing amazing things about biofuels and new ways of generating energy. So then you have other people saying, well, if Jonathan can do that, why can't I do something? So then Tammy says, I want to take my dream of mentorship and take it forward. How did it work for you? Did it help for you to hear other people and what they were doing?
Yes, I actually saw a lot of synergy within the group, because even if it's different and it's a different topic, you know, there's Jonathan and Trent who's working on the Omega project on alternative energy. And it's different than my project in a way because it's mentorship, but yet it's all very similar in some ways because he could contribute with the mentorship that I'm working on too, and vice versa.
So you were telling me that you were thinking that his project could actually have internships for young people who could learn more about the biofuels. Is that what you were thinking?
I mean, my focus is to help job seekers, adults or young, anyone who's looking for career change. And if he's there's a volunteer who is interested in helping out his project, I would be able to help him to find someone to get some volunteer hours for him too.
Great. And so, Kenan, you're in the life sciences, and so you watch how Jonathan and Tammy are talking about how internships could happen. Do you see that happening in the sciences too?
Internships have long held a place. Well, there's a whole training cycle in the sciences, but what I actually see emerging is something that isn't really at all in place yet, except in a few very early entries in the engineering sciences, et cetera. And it's basically a combination. It's part of what I'm doing with Brian Donahue right now and Sandy Bates, who is also at Franchise for Humanity. It's this idea of that hands-on learning is the best learning. And there's this gap right now because there's many different public innovative needs or needs that need to be innovated around So what if we marry that to the training process? What if we do the whole experiential learning, project-based learning, and create a structure for students to learn while actually doing public good out in the social sphere? So it's a whole new arena of social innovation that we're talking about. We're looking at what's already been done in this space, and we're starting to create these synergies. I'm really excited about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I just have to almost break into song because out of the Health Futures group, we ended up forming the California Health Corps as volunteers within the community trying to improve health. Well, recently I was just down at the HOSA National Conference, and HOSA is the Health Occupation Students of America, and there's 165,000 of them in 3,000 institutions around the country. So what we started to talk about with the California HOSA is how our group, California Health Corps, could work with the students from middle school through high school to college. There's 112 chapters in California,
Wow.
and we can start to begin working with them to look at how they could contribute to increasing the health within their communities, how they could be health ambassadors, how they could actually help people check that they've taken their medications, help them follow up to see if they were moving back home from a hospital, whether the place that they were going to was suitable for them to come back to. So I am truly enthusiastic about the possibility of young people starting to work with community health centers. I see that as very real. I think that the work that you're doing, Kenan, is really paving the way for more and more of those things. As a young person, Tammy, what do you think of if you were in high school or college? You're closer to that than we are.
A little.
How would you see if a group of people came to you and said, here's a way in which you could get involved with increasing the health of your community? What would you think?
I think it would be really awesome. It's just that there's not a whole lot of opportunities. There's not enough opportunities out there for young students and individuals to do that. So if there's a way to do that, that would be really great too.
So one of the things that we do on our next Tuesday calls, we begin with a check-in. We talk about the project updates. And then we have our final word. So I'd like to go around and for us to have our final word for this. It's not a next Tuesday call, but it is our first checkpoint on our journey for Franchise for Humanity. Next month will be our 6-month anniversary.
Oh, wow.
And so what's your final word now that we're really moving into 6 months with Franchise for Humanity? What do you think, Kenan?
I like the idea of traction. I think we're getting traction, and it's tapping into a natural desire in the younger generation. They are tapped into making a difference. So traction and tapping in.
Thank you, Kenan.
Well, for me, I think I've learned great significance in actually the significance of working together and getting to know people over time. And I think that's really important to building a really good network of people with the same interest. It's been really a great experience so far. Thank you.
So my final word is joy.
Oh,
So
I love it.
thank you.
Thank you.